Green Bay, Wisconsin. On this snow-swept field, the Cleveland Browns will meet the Green Bay Packers for football's World Championship. The ground crew clears the field, but Cleveland owner Art Modell knows that the elements will be a factor. Following an early Green Bay touchdown, the Browns receive the kickoff. Charlie Scales returns the ball toward midfield. On Cleveland's opening play, Frank Ryan sends Jim Brown downfield as a receiver. Brown makes a fine catch for a 30-yard gain. The Browns are on the Green Bay 17. Operating behind a solid wall of blockers, Frank Ryan sets up to throw. Flanker Gary Collins fakes to the inside, then breaks for the sideline. Ryan hits him with a perfect pass, and the Browns have scored. The point after touchdown fails, however, and Cleveland trails by 1. The Browns regain possession. Ryan throws to Paul Warfield on a hitch pattern, and Paul is dragged down at the Packer 25. Finding his receivers covered, Ryan sets out around end. The slippery turf proves his undoing, and the Brown drive stalls. But Lou Groza kicks a 24-yard field goal, and Cleveland leads 9-7. In the second period, Gary Collins demonstrates why he is considered one of the finest punters in the NFL. His coffin corner kick goes out on the Packer 4. Deep in his own territory, Bart Starr gambles with a pass. The gamble ends in disaster for Green Bay when Walter Beach intercepts. Jim Brown collects Ryan's toss and rolls for a 14-yard gain. When the ball pops from Ryan's grasp, another potential touchdown drive is foiled. On the next play, Groza converted a field goal, but the Browns trail at halftime 13-12. In the second half, the Green Bay Packers and the elements prove too much for the Browns. Paul Hornung slogs through the mud for a score, and the Packers go on to win football's World Championship 23-12. But these are the faces of determination. The determination that enabled the Cleveland Browns in 1965 to post the finest regular season one-loss record in the NFL. Since the Browns joined the NFL in 1950, they have won more games than any other team. The men you see have upheld this legacy of victory and fulfilled the tradition of the Cleveland Browns, a winning tradition. This is Jim Brown, the most devastating ball carrier in the history of football. In his 9 years in the NFL, he has gained more yards and scored more touchdowns than anyone else. Every yard he gains sets a record. There are defensive men in the league who have dedicated themselves, their souls and their bodies, to a holy war against Jimmy Brown. None of them has yet won the crusade. In 1965, Brown led the NFL in rushing for the 8th time. Here is Brown at his battering best, driving headlong into a knot of tacklers, breaking free, then sliding to the outside for a big gain. He has the speed to go the distance and the raw power to drag tacklers for extra yards. This close-up view provides graphic evidence of Brown's power as he peels off one pursuer, then drags others with him en route to a 15-yard gain. Gene Hickerson, Cleveland's fine guard, is part of Jim Brown's blocking convoy. Fierce John Wooten is another. Hickerson and Wooten demonstrate their value to the Cleveland ground game. Wooten eliminates a would-be tackler. Hickerson escorts Brown through the secondary, and a 24-yard gain is the result. But Cleveland's fine season cannot be attributed to the running game alone. The passing attack played a vital chapter in the Browns' success story. Dr. Frank Ryan is the man who steered the Cleveland roller coaster to a runaway title in the East. With touchdown tosses like this 80-yarder to Walter Roberts against the Washington Redskins. Roberts, at 162 pounds, is the smallest player in the NFL. Against the Cowboys, Roberts is the little man with the big play as he grabs Ryan's pass for a score. Ryan pitches to Leroy Kelly, another member of Cleveland's fine core of receivers. But when it comes to pass catching, here's the man they can't forget. Number 86, Gary Collins. The man with the magnetized hands who led the Browns in pass receiving in 1965. Gary puts the grab on this Frank Ryan toss and races in for a score against the Washington Redskins. Collins flashes his all-pro credentials to the Minnesota Vikings. This reception was good for 67 yards, Gary's longest of the year. An integral part of the Cleveland offensive machinery, Collins can be counted on to go all out on every play, as the New York Giants find out. Collins is a man dedicated to his profession, despite the obstacles. The Philadelphia Eagles learned the hard way that this type of dedication pays off for Mr. Gary Collins. Number 74 is Dick Modzelewski, the driving force behind the Cleveland defense, a defense composed of men who glory in the bruising body contact of their trade. Against the New York Giants, Mo fights away from a double-team block, then leads a beefy stampede to trample the quarterback. Walter Johnson, number 71, has the elusive Fran Tarkenton in his grasp. Mo rolls up to apply the finishing touch. Jim Kanicki joins Modzelewski in this double-barreled assault on a Redskin runner. To the patrons of pro football, Paul Wiggin, number 84, is a defensive end who ranks with the best. Watch Wiggin, a durable 9-year veteran, shed 2 blockers and trip up Charlie Taylor of the Redskins. Bill Glass is a man truly dedicated to violence. Bill Nelson of the Steelers is just one of many NFL quarterbacks who know and fear the driving rush of Bill Glass. An expert at decoding enemy strategy, Glass drifts into the flat when Sonny Jurgensen drops back to pass. Bill is at the right place at the right time to intercept for the Browns. The Cleveland defensive line is reinforced by alert linebackers. Corner linebacker Jim Houston discards one blocker, then charges past another to down the ball carrier. As a rule, the Browns do not play a blitzing game, but when they do blitz, as Houston does here, it is usually effective. The name is Galen Fiss, Cleveland's captain and right linebacker. A chance for a long gain by the Cowboys is ruined when Fiss single-handedly destroys the interference. Without his blockers, the runner is easy prey for the pursuing defenders. Fisk lends a helping hand to the secondary against New York when he drops off the line and shortcuts Earl Morrall's pass. Number 50 is Vince Costello, the third member of Cleveland's fine linebacking brigade. Vince is big enough to stop the run, and as you can see, quick enough to react well against the pass. You've seen some of the elements that made the Cleveland Browns Eastern Division champions in 1965. The goal of wise football men is a balanced team, one that combines a knockout punch with the strength and cunning to counter an opponent's Sunday swings. This is the kind of team that wins titles, a team like the Cleveland Browns. So let's look at some of the significant games in Cleveland's drive to the Eastern title. It wasn't until the third game of the season that the Brown juggernaut started to gel. Trailing the Eagles by 3 points in the final period, Cleveland gains possession of the ball when Timmy Brown fumbles a punt. Jim Brown soars into the end zone, and Cleveland gains the lead 21-17. Philadelphia takes the kickoff and moves to the attack. But Ross Buechner intercepts King Hill's toss, and it's destination goal line. Hill goes to the air again. It's the right place, but the wrong man. Larry Benz intercepts, and the Browns go on to score their third touchdown in this final quarter to beat the Eagles 35-17. This early season comeback victory gave the Browns a momentum they never lost. A pelting rainstorm puts a damper on Cleveland's only night game of the season. The weather doesn't bother the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. Rookie Roy Jefferson takes a punt and winds through the Browns for 67 yards. Sidney Williams finally brings him down. Pittsburgh scores and leads by 2 points with just 3 minutes to play. Walter Roberts returns the kickoff to the 23-yard line. Because of the shortage of time, Ryan knows he must throw, and he does, to Leroy Kelly, who gallops down the sideline for 22 yards. Ryan fades to pass again. His receivers are covered, and he's forced to run. He gains 6 yards, and the Browns cross midfield. Time is of the essence as Ryan tosses to Kelly. The nimble halfback picks his way to the Steeler 18-yard line, then steps out of bounds to stop the clock. 44 seconds remain as Ryan steps back to throw. Collins is open over the middle. It's a touchdown for Gary, and a thrilling come-from-behind victory for the Cleveland Browns. The New York Giants, Cleveland's archenemy, play host in fabled Yankee Stadium. Ryan sends his receivers sifting into the New York secondary. Walter Roberts on a flag pattern gains a step on Dick Lynch, and one step is all he needs. It's Browns 10, Giants 7. The slow-motion camera documents Cleveland's most effective play. A pitch out to Jim Brown. Dick Shafrath, Ernie Green, and John Wooten sweep Giant defenders from the path as Brown accelerates through heavy traffic. A last-ditch effort by Henry Carr prevents Brown from going all the way. Ryan calls on Brown again, this time as a pass receiver. Brown spins and battles to the New York 5. Watch number 27, Walt Roberts, on the upper left corner of the screen. Having beaten Lynch once on a flag pattern, Roberts tries it again. Ryan lobs a soft pass over Lynch's outstretched hands. The Flea gathers it in, and Cleveland increases its advantage 17-7. What begins as an end sweep ends in a pass. Brown is on target to Gary Collins, who carries Jim Patton into the end zone. Green caps a fourth quarter drive as the Browns take an undisputed first-place lead in the East. Cleveland Stadium will be the battleground as the league-leading Browns meet the explosive Philadelphia Eagles for the second time. Norm Snead hands off to Timmy Brown. The smooth-running halfback finds a hole over his left end and glides 54 yards to a touchdown. Sam Baker kicks off for Philadelphia. Walter Roberts takes the ball on his 2-yard line. Threads his way through the first wave of tacklers. Then turns on the afterburner and speeds 88 yards to the Eagle 10. Ryan fakes to Brown, then pitches to Collins, and the game is tied. Snead forwards a pass intended for Timmy Brown, but rookie Dale Lindsey comes up with a timely interception. The second quarter opens as quarterback Ryan turns ball carrier. The good doctor picks up 16 yards, and Cleveland has a first down. Ryan sends Brown over the middle. The pass is good. Jim fakes by the last defender, then lopes in for an easy touchdown that puts Cleveland in command, 21-17 at halftime. The Eagles open play in the third period with a touchdown. Snead throws to his All-Pro end Pete Retzlaff, and Philadelphia reclaims the lead. Much to the dismay of Coach Blanton Collier. Cleveland retaliates as Ryan calls his most consistent pass play, the post pattern to Gary Collins. Now it's Cleveland's most consistent running play. An end sweep by Jim Brown, who steps off good yardage. Brown dives over from the 1, and Cleveland takes over the lead, 31-27. In the final period, Cleveland is forced to punt from its own 15-yard line. George Tarasovic barely misses the ball, but roughs kicker Gary Collins. The penalty gives the Browns a first down, and they maintain possession. The penalty proves costly to the Eagles. Ryan directs an 80-yard march that ends in this touchdown pass to Collins, which ices the victory. One of the 6 capacity crowds of 1965 pours into Cleveland Stadium to witness the second Browns-Giants tilt. More than 640,000 fans attended Cleveland's 7 home games and the doubleheader. A fired-up Cleveland team takes the offensive in the first period. Ernie Green grabs Ryan's toss, sheds a tackler, then tightropes down the chalk line for a touchdown. The Giants are in a double blitz. The linebackers have an open road to the passer, but center John Morrow and Jim Brown form a roadblock, and the blitz is foiled. Halfback Green, normally covered by a linebacker, is now open because of the Red Dog and maneuvers downfield for a big gain. Only a diving tackle by Henry Carr prevents a touchdown. Dick Shafrath escorts Brown into the end zone, and Cleveland leads 14-7. Ernie Green had his finest day of the season in this game against New York. Ryan fires to Ernie for a 17-yard completion. That was the key play in a Cleveland drive that terminated with this Jimmy Brown 4-yard scoring sweep. Wooten and Hickerson guide Brown through the first line of defense. Jim runs through the remaining obstacles for Cleveland's final score in a 34-21 thrashing of the New York Giants. Before an all-time record crowd of 76,000 at the Cotton Bowl, the Browns seek to cement their hold on first place. Jim Brown moves Cleveland ahead in the second period as he knifes through 4 Cowboys on this short but spectacular scoring jaunt. Minutes later, Colin Ridgway kicks to the leading punt returner in the NFL, Leroy Kelly. Kelly demonstrates how he achieved his #1 ranking as he gallops through the Cowboys on a 67-yard scoring sprint. Leroy averaged 15.6 yards a return in 1965. In the third period, Jim Brown sets out around end. He cuts against the grain and storms downfield. Johnny Brewer's picture book block clears the deck for an additional 15 yards. In scoring position, Ryan employs his post-pattern pass to Collins for a touchdown. The Cowboys threaten to tie the game in the final period, but a clutch interception by Vince Costello ensures a Cleveland victory. Coach Blanton Collier knows that a win today against the Pittsburgh Steelers means the Eastern title for the Browns. Leroy Kelly is aware of this too. He gathers in Frank Lambert's punt, picks up a fine block, then steams by the Steelers on a stunning 56-yard touchdown return. Football's finest fullback shows the almost incredible speed which animates his 230 pounds. Brown is off on the year's longest run from scrimmage, 67 yards. Jim pops through a narrow hole to score for the Browns, who now lead by 2 touchdowns. A Pittsburgh offensive is crushed when Dick Mogilewski smears Bill Nelson for a big loss. The Browns regain possession, and the slow-motion camera details the precise teamwork of the Ryan to Collins post pattern. Ryan's pass floats over the outstretched hands of Jim Bradshaw and into the waiting arms of Collins. The play carries to the 2-yard line. From there, Jim Brown crashes in for the touchdown. Later in the third period, Brown gets the call again. A phalanx of blockers pave the way, and Jim glides in for another score. The final period sees a new face at quarterback, Jim Nanowski, but a familiar face in the end zone, Jim Brown, who tallies his 4th TD. The Browns crushed the Steelers 42-21, and a tired but proud Cleveland team has clinched its 2nd straight Eastern Conference crown. The Browns then jetted to Los Angeles and fell flat on their face in the mud. Los Angeles 42, Cleveland 7. Seeking to avenge an early season loss to the Cardinals, the Browns are geared for an all-out effort in the season's finale. Cleveland opens play in the first period as Ryan pitches out to Brown. Jim leaves a scattered trail of Cardinals as he winds out a 33-yard gain. The Ryan to Collins duo puts the Browns on the board, this time on a down-and-out pattern. In second period action, a Buddy Humphrey pass ricochets off Bobby Joe Conrad. Jim Houston snatches the stray ball and travels 23 yards before big Ernie McMillan lowers the boom. A flat pass to tight end Johnny Brewer is worth 8 yards and a first down. Ryan finds Collins open over the middle for another 8-yard advance. Jim Brown handles the scoring chores, and Cleveland has a comfortable 14-point edge. The Browns are threatening again, but Ryan's pass intended for Brewer is picked off by Larry Wilson. The shifty Cardinal safety outraces one Brown, then sidesteps Ryan's desperate lunge. It's 95 yards and a touchdown, the longest interception return in 1965. The resurgent Cards score again, and the game is tied. Then Terry Knopfsinger flips this pass to Bill Triplett for still another St. Louis tally. And the Cards take the lead 24-17 in the final period. But the Browns are best when the pressure is great and the time is short. Ryan to Brewer for a first down. Lou Groza, in his 19th year with the Cleveland Browns, contributes a 45-yard field goal to slice the Cardinal lead to 4 points. St. Louis stays on the ground to consume time. The hard-pursuing Cleveland defense throws Bill Triplett for a 6-yard loss and forces the Cardinals to go to the air. Knopfsinger throws for the first down, but Vince Costello diagnoses the play and intercepts. The Browns close the regular season in fitting style as Ryan fires to Tom Hutchinson for the game-winning touchdown. This victory concludes a season of success, a season of thrills and excitement, a season in which the Cleveland Browns maintained their winning tradition.